It doesn't fit.
Alright, I'll hold it.
Although, wait, can you do this? Can you hold it
Oh,
this
yeah.
way?
Okay. Oh, thank you, Maria. Good thinking.
That's why we have you here.
That's why.
Yes.
We need you at every event, Maria.
God, this is like. Alright, it's just gonna have to.
You got it now? That's so weird.
Are we elbowing? Yes. You hug or?
No, the elbow's good.
Elbow's great.
How are you?
Nice to see you.
You cut your hair.
I did.
It's pretty.
It all broke off in the beginning of COVID. I don't know what it was. It was just getting gray and wired.
No, it's pretty. That's a nice line.
I'll let him know. Well, maybe can we give it to him?
Yeah. No, during COVID.
This is working now? Okay. All right, so we're live. All right, so oh, you don't have
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Right. All right. Is everybody ready to practice the wave out there? Oh, wrong event. Wrong event. Welcome, everybody, to the special Super Bowl Sunday version of Love in Multitudes. So celebrating love with a multitude of voices, poetic voices, poems. My name is Maria Basil, and I am the Vice President of the Board of Trustees of the Walt Whitman Birthplace Association. And on behalf of the Board of Trustees and the staff here at Walt Whitman Birthplace, I am so delighted to welcome all of these poetic voices and everyone here attending to our celebration of love. All kinds of love. So before we go into our program, I'll talk a little bit about our rules of engagement. We're going to start out with a few selected kind of published poems that we'll start with a few published poems that were submitted from folks in the community, and we'll have as many folks who are here come up and read them. Then we have a very special guest, a poet from Virginia. His name is Tom McDonald, and he is going to lead then the community read around of poems that were submitted for an open mic. Okay, all on the theme of love. F. Scott Fitzgerald said, "There are many kinds of love, but never the same love twice." Right, so we're going to get to celebrate all kinds of love today. Then, again, before we get too excited and jump into our poems about love, I want to thank then our Board of Trustees, and we have some members of the Board of Trustees here. Dr. Jack Coulihan is our president. Then we have Mark Nuccio, who's here also. And Robert Savino. Welcome. And then I wanted to thank our staff who are giving tours and checked you all in, but especially our Associate Director, Derry Schaefer and Heather McDonald. So let me start out with a very, very general poem about love that's actually entitled "Of Love." It's by Mary Oliver, the late great Mary Oliver, who is a great poet of nature, of life, and of love. So, "Of Love" by Mary Oliver. I have been in love more times than one, thank the Lord. Sometimes it was lasting, whether active or not. Sometimes it was all but ephemeral, maybe only an afternoon, but not less real for that. They stay in my mind, these beautiful people, or anyway, people who are beautiful to me, of which there are so many. You, and you, and you, whom I had the fortune to meet, or maybe missed. Love, 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 it was the core of my life, from which, of course, comes the word for the heart. And oh, have I mentioned that some of them were men, and some were women, and some, now carry my revelation with you, were trees, or places, or music flying above the names of their makers, or clouds, or the sun, which was the first and the best, the most loyal for certain, who looked so faithfully into my eyes every morning. So I imagine such love of the world, its fervency, its shining, its innocence and hunger to give of itself. I imagine this is how it began. So let us begin our Festival of Love with the next poem called Skin Knows Skin by Patty Tana.
Skin knows skin. The way the water spreads across the pond in widening waves of sparkling light. The way a sleek, elegant animal arches into the palm of a familiar, beloved hand. I tremble beneath your touch. How can the body respond year after year to the same urges and delights? Skin knows skin, I say when you press into my body, soft flesh and hard bones. Skin loves skin, your body replies, stretched head to toe beside.
Thank you, Patty. That was lovely. So Naomi Shayab Nye is a wonderful, wonderful poet that we all know and love very well. Many, many poems about love. But San Antonio was submitted by Paula Kirchie, a local poet, and so she is here. Yes, Paula, please come up and read Naomi's.
So this is from It Is Forever or What? Poems and Paintings About Texas by Naomi. Tonight I lingered over your name, the delicate assembly of vowels, a voice inside my head. You were sleeping when I arrived. I stood by your bed and watched the sheets gently rise. I knew what slant of light would make you turn over. It was then I felt the highway slide out of my hands. I remember the old men in the West Side Cafe dealing dominoes like magical charms. It was then I knew, like a woman looking backward. I could not leave you to find anyone I'd loved more.
And our next love poem is by Melissa Fadul. After our first talk in 4 years. So please welcome Melissa.
Hi, I just want to say thank you to everyone who, I'm not really sure who decided, but thank you. This actually comes from my collection of poetry that was just published in October. It's called Pulse. I do have copies if you're interested. It's also available on Amazon. After our first talk in 4 years, memory rewound our discussion, your words. I'm open if you want to meet face to face. I couldn't tell you I still love you. Not like lovers in a field of barley camouflaging their bodies. It's graciousness. You're still a well holding my secrets. If one were to drain your depths, I still think you wouldn't give up those thoughts. Over the line, I didn't know what to say. It took years for transferences burn to bronze and fade. Even now, if someone calls your name, I stop. Hope, not hope, you're near. So temptation doesn't blurt. Tell me one of your stories. This heart has starved. Remind me of the real matter. Let your body lean into its shadow. When you tell me of a couple whose infant died, who pulled off the freeway after their funeral, unbuckled the baby seat and dumped it on the shoulder. And hours later, they went back to find it gone. Thank you.
The next poem is by Robert Windorf, and it is entitled Hearts Waiting at the Door.
Thank you, Dr. Basile. Thank you very much, everyone. And I don't think she's here. Is Cynthia Shore here? No. She sent me an invitation email to participate, so thank you to her in absentia. Love, as I believe we all understand from at one point or another in our lives, involves many dimensions. And the dimension that comes out in my little poem here is forgiveness after an event. So the creative spark for this poem was my reaction to an aphractic challenge. I didn't win the contest, but I got published elsewhere by the University of Mississippi last year in their very fine journal called The Ponder Review. So this is entitled Hearts Waiting at the Door. While I've been away from my ordinary life, my dreams have been full of days that repeatedly dissolve in accord with perpetual calendars affixed to fir trees I trod past in this forest, silently, except for the labored crunching from my tired boots. Never forgetting my origin among the hills and dales where the trees have guided me, I remember those who await my return, and I hope their forgiving hearts will be waiting at the door on that day. Thank you.
Okay, next we will have one of our board members, Mark Nuccio, read a poem that was submitted by another board member, Gwen Nussbaum, by our poet laureate, or our a previous poet laureate, Joy Harjo, and it's called Redbird Love. Mark, would you?
This is a unique poem because it combines nature with love. We watched her grow up. She was an urgent chirper, fledgling flyer, and when spring rolled out its green, she'd grown into the most noticeable bird girl. Long-legged and just, the right amount of blush tipping her wings, crest, and tail, and she knew it in the bird parade. We watched her strut. She strutted her own stuff. The males perked their armor, greased their wings, and flew sky-loop missions to show off for her. In the end, there was only one. Isn't that how it is for all of us? Thank you, Gwen.
Okay, so the next part of the program will be facilitated by our guest poet, Mr. Tom McDonald.
Thank you, Maria. Really pleased to be here. I appreciate all of you, and thanks for coming out on Super Bowl Sunday to share your thoughts on love. That's quite wonderful. Today, for the open mic section, or portion of our show today, we have 5 poets, would-be poets, writers, that want to share their thoughts on love. I'll begin with 2 poems. The first one's a sonnet, and the second one's a free verse poem. And then we'll move to Sandra Galoff. Would you raise your hand, Sandra? Or we'll move on to John Renner. John Renner, okay, thank you. Okay, the first one was especially fun for me to write. It's a penguin love story. I've been learning more about the names of groups of animals. As many of you know what they are. I was surprised that penguins had two names for their groups, one for sea and one for land. So if they're on sea, they're called a raft, and if they're on land as a group, they're called a wattle. This particular sonnet is called Keepsake. You know the story of the male penguin, whose sheepish twaddle calls petrels to laugh. In mating, without words or notes, sanguine, must start with a gift, their ritual, their craft. Whose mighty footprints will barter this trade? This mate or that, spied from raft or wattle? So all to all, with all, selections made. Who in the vast rookery to coddle? Then the key, to set a stone at her feet. This bird's and this pebble's peradventure. For love, how should such a proposal mean? In return, will she consent? Surrender. Will pass my treasure round till it pleases. Ah, love's promise in all the world's beaches. The second poem is free verse, but it has iambic pentameter, so it's blank verse, as many of you probably know that particular form. This poem was written as an ode to the 2.5 years that I spent living in Europe, studying in Belgium, France, and England. I was inspired by the ancient stories of chivalry and kingdoms, of course, histories of romance. The ends people would go just for love, and the debts owed for love. What if these love stories never came to be? This poem is called What If? What if there were no sleeping beauty, no knights on horses in sword-drawn stance, no quiet dames to kiss the spell to life, no damsels locked in towering distress, no babes who feign their feelings in luring chase, no menacing bully upsetting heartly taste, no kingdom needing queen to save the crown, no joust to win fair lady's golden brow, No bout to break poor foes' same ambition, no virgin prize to win by all men's admission. No booty, dowry, trust of any kind, no hand to woo with chocolates, roses, wine. No backs to break, no poignards to unsheath, no boasty babble to entice shy women's wreath, no rhymes to send through silent shadows, no vows to read from sealed parchment's mantle. What if history's knots had come untied? What would we see in one another's eyes? Okay, so next we have, blessed to have with us, Mr. John Renner, if that's pronounced correctly. Thank you.
My mother died in August. She was 98, had a wonderful life. She lived in an assisted living facility in Arizona near my sister, and I was able to spend the last 6 days of her life with her in her apartment. And love happens at all ages. She had a boyfriend in the room next door. This is what I wrote when I got home. The man in the next room called my mother Queen Elspeth Ann. He came to her room each morning to wake her in song. She would say, "You can make 10 mistakes in a day, but if you sing to me in the morning, all is forgiven." For lunch, it was a table for 2 in the courtyard. At 98, my mother still enjoyed the attention. She liked that other women were still jealous and kept a watchful eye on potential interlopers. Her dreams and desires were still alive. In his room at night, they watched tapes of old movies. He rubbed the back of her hand saying, "Your beautiful mother of pearl knuckles." The night before she died, he placed one knee on the bed and balanced with one foot grounded on the floor, his face close to her face. I asked if he would sing to my mother, and he filled the room with hymn.
Thank you, John, for that beautiful poem. Elaine Pasquale?
I'm doing an open mic later because I can't
We
walk
have
up
one
there.
more.
Okay. Vinnie Caloni? Vinnie?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, that was wonderful. All of you wonderful. This is a poem song that I wrote with my daughter. She's 21, her name is Julia Cologne. It's called Two Bodies. Just two bodies lost in space and lost in time. When I see your face, when I see your eyes, then I realize everything is fine, that I am fine. Stop and stare, are you aware? Did you know? Just two bodies lost in time, they've lost their place. You and I, face to face, hand in hand, right here in this moment, everything is perfect. Lunar eclipse, lunar eclipse. Take it slow, anything you need is yours. 'Cause you're mine, don't turn back. Don't you leave what you have, everything is right here. Can't you see, can't you see? Lunar eclipse, lunar eclipse. Take your time, don't forget to come back. Come back now, where you're from, listen here. Thank you, everyone.
Well, Vinny, thank you for that lyric poem there. Well done, thank you. We have a Kelly Powell. All right, Kelly.
So happy to be here. I won't give you any build-up, no particular form. It's called Supermarket Sushi. I'm tall, can you hear me? With the microphone? Supermarket sushi melts in your mouth, tasting so much better that you got it on sale as it reached its expiration date. Fear of the aftermath of a bit of salmonella not preventing your spontaneous purchase or your joy at getting a good deal. The rose of Sharon blooming in the garden forms a still life, living in the trompe l'oeil of your heart. A blank canvas filled with possibility and dread. Lost loves, past lives, children playing on the rocks. A watery landscape behind an infinite identity realistically drawn, soaked in coffee grounds, imitate an aged quality for a famous forger's pleasure. How does one discern the real thing from an educated copy and still survive? Ordinary things, too fragile to survive the aftermath of an earthquake in Nepal or tsunami in the kitchen sink. Paint the idea, move the figure, mow the lawn in the front acre someday. Keep your word if you can. Try to stay honest. Straying in your mind can lead to straying on the page as the supermarket flowers wilt and the children born and unborn are calling and wishing your life away is a waste of precious time. But the laundry needs folding and the phone bill needs to be paid, creating peace among the orange groves and row houses for everyone, everywhere alike.
Thank you, Kelly, for that beautiful wordplay. Supermarket sushi, well done. Okay, before I finish off with the open mic night, is there, right, do we want to check a couple more? Okay, is it Sandra Galoff? No? Come on up. Come on down.
Happy Valentine, Walt Whitman birthplace, and everyone. Okay, my poem is about a lifelong friendship, as told by someone my age. It's called I Love Us Now. 1. Woodstock, first light. Crescent lips, a fiery spark. Unhurried, they reflect your soul. In my arms you nestle, quite content. Imprints of our days, our nights, the bond we share is indesirable. Desire lives in our heart. Fluid is want. Evocative are pledges whispered in the dawn on love's mystic waves. 2. Mid-afternoon tea. Laughter and affection fit like a glove. It is our life song, the you and me. I never tire as I admire your warm, dewy face, your enchanting eyes and flaxen hair. Early on in years, I desired to take liberties, but dare not for fear of being dismissed, of being left behind on this delightful path. And enjoying our noon to sun, I have come to learn your sips of adoration was equally so. It has been an unspoken commitment on a vacillating, yet the fondest sea.
3, the twilight years. I love us now is our constant stake. It is gentle, superb. It is grander than to have lost to a one-time affair. Throughout eternity, we have remained devoted, and nurtured is the embrace. Our lovers' ballet. You with unending fondness, and me basking by your side. Blessed are we to be invited there, loving us now and forever, yonder the stars, beyond eternity, the sweet of heart we share.
Are there any other open mic nights? One other, open mic readers,
Yeah, I think
one
we
more?
have one more, and
And then
we're gonna bring
I'll
the
finish
mic
up,
down.
I'll finish up with one at the end.
Okay.
Here, sir, ma'am? Come on up.
I wrote this poem for my youngest granddaughter. Grandma peeks into the cradle. Pink little buttercup, pug little nose, God's precious miracle, set in a pose. Cheeks full and rosy, lips pursed like buds, of a spectacular rare rose, its petals soft as suds, of delicate glistening bubbles, as huge as her eyes. Grandma's face, etched in wrinkles, looks startled and surprised as she peers upon her granddaughter's delicate skin. So tender, so perfect, emotions stir from within. Grandma's heart pounds so quickly, feeling love with each beat. Her cheeks flush so red from her warmth and the heat. Wrapped so snugly before her in a cradle unscathed is a tiny being, so fragile, still untouched by life's rage. She now feels compelled, since she's lived many years, to gently blot each teardrop as each appears. For although she's not the parent, she'll watch from afar, sure to shelter this angel from the world's ugly scar. Grandma slowly bends forward, stroking her granddaughter's hair, as she notes golden highlights that match her skin, oh so fair. She breaks into a humble smile as they both are aglow, peering down on God's miracle only a grandma could know.
We're gonna have one more, and then we'll move the mic down.
Greetings, everyone. And let me add my welcome to the Whitman birthplace and our Valentine celebration. I'm going to read an ekphrastic poem. It's a poem about my reaction to a photograph, but it's a peculiar ekphrastic poem because I took the photograph and I took it many years before I wrote the poem, but I was actually there in the situation in which the poem was written. So I guess it's I'm not sure what you'd call it, a semi-ekphrastic or bi-ekphrastic poem. It's called After a Photograph of Anne Holding Her Morning Cup of Coffee. This moment teased by light from what is past and fixed on paper here, still has the feel of waking, your coffee to deal a last telling blow at night, and vaguely steal a grip on day. Somehow, your turban seems a chrysalis for embryonic hair, and your eyes, half opened as they are, scheme to steady cup and hand. The human care to work out who you are is still asleep, with common sense, desire, and even love. Sitting there, you haven't tried to keep within yourself or even tried to give. In the rifled box I have of memory, bulging with moments that may hold a clue to what I am, it is a joy to see this rose, a morning star, an orchid, you. Thank you.
Oh, yes. After an accident, car accident, my climbing up on stairs is not too great. This is called Love is Spelled Dog. Snipper was my first dog, a mini schnauzer, bright and saucy as her name implies. One day, Snipper crossed the Rainbow Bridge. I was heartbroken. Mia, Noah, Natasha, Miko's and Benji, each rescued me from grief. Each stole my heart. Each in turn crossed the Rainbow Bridge. Each time, I was heartbroken. Petey is my seventh dog, part Jack Russell, part crazy. All love and fun, a rescue dog. He rescued me from grief. Each day I pray, Petey, please don't cross the Rainbow Bridge. Love when lost hurts. Love when found heals. Love like hope springs eternal. Love is spelled dog.
Okay, is there anybody else out there that we've missed on the open mic portion? Anyone else? Well, thank you all very much for the second part of this celebration here of love and affection. Well, you all have such huge hearts. It's wonderful to hear your thoughts. Many different generations, generational, animals, parents, grandparents, grandchildren. It's a wonderful thing. I'll close this section off with a third poem I'm going to read. This particular one is another sonnet, and it's inspired by the constant evolution of love. Love on its axis, the beginning and end, like the earth revolving around the sun. These revolutions that bind and hold us together. That's not the poem. That happened to me in the past when I said thank you, and they all clapped and thought that was it. Appreciate that. You, the sun, and I, the curious world, spinning round and round, happy, light, and dark, passing through mercurial seasons whirl, round and round, to the night, and new day's mark. I do envy your stature, constant, still, while I race about through each season's coup. Nature's breath, morning, day, by night its will, but all things must die to begin anew. So let my love die each night in sleeping. Let love wait asleep in a budding space. Wait the world to turn by its own keeping, brings love anew, innocent as daybreak. Such celestial globes fill the galaxy, but this world's heart beats fast, brings life to thee.
Thank you, Tom, and thank you to all the poets and lovers of poetry and lovers of love. So again, well, thank you so much for coming out on, I think there's a football game later today. So thank you for coming out anyway and tailgating with us. And so again, we wish you a very, very happy St. Valentine's Day coming up this Wednesday. And want to thank again our executive director, actually, who couldn't be with us today, but was instrumental in bringing us all together. So Cynthia Shore, thank you if you're watching. And then for Derry and Heather and all the staff here at the Walt Whitman Birthplace, please let's have a round of applause. And again to the members of our board who are here, Dr. Jack Houlihan, Mr. Mark Nuccio, and Mr. Robert Savino. And on behalf of the entire board of the Walt Whitman Birthplace Association, I wish you a good day.